Hello and welcome, and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails the unprecedented growth of India's defence sector in the last 11 years. He expresses pride in collective resolve of the citizens to propel India towards greater self-sufficiency. At least 10 people have been killed in an Austrian school shooting, including the suspected gunman, confirms Graz mayor. And US President Trump deploys more National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles to quell protests. California's governor says he will take legal action against Donald Trump's authoritarian moves. Now, the Prime Minister Modi-led government has completed 11 years in office. Up next, we revisit some government initiatives in revolutionizing defence capabilities. Prime Minister Modi today said that over the past 11 years, India has witnessed remarkable advancements in its defence sector, marked by a clear focus on modernization and self-reliance in defence production. The Prime Minister expressed pride in the collective resolve of the people of India and the unwavering determination to propel India towards greater self-sufficiency and technological excellence in defence. Responding to a post on X by MyGov India, the PM said that the last 11 years have marked significant changes in India's defence sector, with a clear focus on both modernization and becoming self-reliant when it comes to defence production. It is gladdening to see how the people of India have come together with the resolve of making India stronger. Well, in the last 11 years, India's defence sector has undergone a historic transformation under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inspiring leadership, which has led to stronger borders, modern armed forces, indigenous weapons, record defence exports and global trust. Here's a report. With a $4 trillion economy and a defence budget of $80 billion, India is destined for unprecedented progress. India's defence exports have surged by 334% since 2014, reaching 90 countries, while diplomacy has redefined the country's global role. This is a story of a new India, bold, self-reliant and respected across the world. The defence revolution under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has transformed India into a self-reliant military power. The 2014 Make in India initiative reduced dependence on imports and boosted indigenous production. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, in defence increased up to 74%, bringing global expertise to India. Over 5,000 companies are now promoting defence innovation, with exports reaching 90 countries. Operation Sindoor, launched on the 7th of May, showcased India's military precision. In response to the 22nd of April terrorist attack in Pahalgam, which claimed the lives of 26 innocent civilians, India struck 9 terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or POK, decimating them completely. Rafale jets equipped with Scalp missiles, BrahMos cruise missiles and indigenous drones destroyed multiple targets, while the Akash Tir air defence system successfully neutralized Pakistani attacks, including drones and missiles. Bureau Report, DD India. Let's get you more on this with our expert guest. SP Shukla joins us, former President, Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers, that's the SIDM. Good evening to you. Mr. Shukla, what do you make of what's been happening in the 11 years as far as indigenization in defence is concerned compared to how things were before 2014?
I can speak about defence sector with pleasure, pride and confidence. In last decade, What has happened is unbelievable. Last year, can you believe we had a defense production of the entire industry 1.25 lakh crores, Sawa lakh crore. That is a phenomenal number. It is a growth of more than 175% in 10 years. If we talk about defense exports, we have grown 35 times. In 10 years ago, our defense exports were less than 700 crores. Today, we are talking about touching a figure of 24,000 crore. And the target is that by the year 2029-30, we should be reaching 50,000 crores of exports. These things have become possible because of different initiatives for which we compliment the government and the user, which is our armed forces.
Right, definitely. And how do you see it going from here, especially after what we've seen in Operation Sindoor and beyond?
Operation Sindoor has proved the capabilities of Indian manufacturers both in public sector and in private sector. One of the major things which happened in last 10 years was giving a boost also to private sector. And this is a symbiotic relationship where companies work together. And that is how the defense industry operates all over the world. Somebody makes this component, somebody makes another component, engine is made by somebody, propeller is made by somebody, and they all come together to deliver a final product for our armed forces. Operation Sindoor has proven that efficacy, efficiency, precision efficiency, as well as reliability of India-made defense equipment is not second to none in the world. It's, I think, after today, nobody is going to say that can Indian industry do this or can Indian industry do this. I think it is a game changer. For the first time, people are actually saying so far, we knew that Indian industry has produced, Indian industry has increased production, Indian industry has started a new product range, but we have seen it in action, and now we know that our industry is capable of serving the armed forces.
Right. And the distinction that was made in terms of kinetic and non-kinetic action, do you feel that that is something which has come into the lexicon because of the way warfare itself has evolved, following what we've seen in Ukraine and now in Operation Sindoor, with the use of air defense systems, drones coming in to a large extent, basically unmanned warfare going to the next level?
You said it, you are absolutely right. I must thank you and for compliment you on pointing it down very appropriately. More and more you are going to find that it is the machines who will fight on behalf of human beings. More and more it will be the warfare based on advanced technology. In fact, today drones may still rely upon a human operator keeping an eye and sending direction, and that may be 50% of the work. Other 50%, a drone does it itself because of its sensors, radars, and other capabilities. Time is coming in next few years, maybe not even years. We are talking about a year or two, when AI alone will guide. And this is a field where India will have advantage over rest of the world. We not only have manufacturing capability, we have one of the best software sector in the world. Together, when defense and software sector come together, you will see that AI technology guided defense equipment, as you rightly said, the
But
distinction can not.
let me, sorry for interrupting, but it's also said that a lot of components for drones still come from China.
I'm not sure about China, but yes, there are components which come from outside, but that is true for almost every country in the world. I'll give you an example, very simple example. In case of NATO countries, a lot of components and assemblies are made in each other's country. It is not that if you have a fighter aircraft, everything is made in the US or everything is made in UK or France. They buy from each other a lot, which are all NATO countries. Same thing was in case of old Soviet Union. Something might be made in Russia, assembled in Russia, something. So defense ecosystems are such where there is considerable interdependence on each other. Main thing from national security point of view for us is that our dependence on a component should not be such that we are unable to do things.
So
It,
how do you think is India positioned there, geopolitically in terms of its strategic independence, or a sort of balancing between two camps and emerging as a fulcrum of global strategic moves, and the future of in fact the world really resting on multipolarity?
You are right. India is now emerging as a great provider of national security to different countries. We have our own ecosystem where we believe that there are reliable sources of supply being developed. And this is an era of interdependence where you have to find reliable partners. And that is where creation of joint ventures with reliability has become very important. One of the best shining example of JV has been BrahMos, which is between India and Russia. Like this, there are several JVs working. It shortage of time, I will not name each one of them. They are emerging in the field where we know that while we'll make in India with collaboration, once JV starts, it is independent, it is able to do things on its own with complete technology transfer. We have made considerable progress. If you say how much, I would say that largely we have now processes and systems in place that if the time comes and if it is needed, we can possibly decouple, largely decouple from dependence on outside world.
Okay.
It is still few years away. It will take few more years of work.
Where do you think it is the most challenging, this decoupling that you're mentioning? Because one area which I think our defense forces have also been pointing out is the development of jet engines and capabilities such as stealth, fifth generation, whereas an enemy country, if we can call it that, has been even showcasing sixth generation capabilities, so to speak of, unproven as yet.
The sixth generation is still in future, but you are very right. Fifth generation has begun to arrive in the air forces of several countries today. Two things where we need to do a lot of work is jet engine. Uh, I want to give on to technical details, but the main issue there has been coming on the metallurgy.
Yes.
You need certain metals which alloys which do not melt at temperatures of 2000 degrees centigrade, 2200 degrees centigrade. We have the engine capability. We are capable of making engines. It is the metals where we need to do some more work. I'm confident that our great institutions.
Why has it been so challenging?
Well, this is something which I think the relevant companies and departments will be able to speak.
Okay.
But the work has been going on jet engine for a while, and now we have reached stage one. This is what I saw when I was part of the DRDO review committee. We have reached stage one, so our jet engine is ready to be used for certain applications. Beginning with certain large UAVs, the work has begun. So Kaveri engine is being used, but we need to move to the next stage of using it for aircrafts. Technically, what we are talking about is there are single-use engines and there are multiple-use engines. In single-use engines, where you use them one time, metallurgy is not so important. But in multiple-use engines, metallurgy becomes very important. So I will stop here. I will not bore our audience with technical details. All I can say is we are 70 to 80% there, but we still need to do another 20%, the last mile.
Okay. Well, let's hope that we make rapid progress on that front, and I beg to differ with you. I don't think it's boring at all. It's fascinating. I wish we had more time to talk about it, but I'm afraid I'll have to say thank you to you for the moment. But thank you so much for joining us. SP Shukla, former President Society for Indian Defence Manufacturers, to talk about this 11 years of the progress made on the front of defending India using its own means, homegrown means, is a big development that has taken place in the last 11 years, and still to come in this edition of DD India Live. US Commerce Secretary says second straight day of US-China trade talks in London are progressing well. And EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen meets External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Gautam Roy. Now, in a devastating act of school shooting, a violent act, at least 10 people have reportedly been killed and a number of others have been injured as well in the southern Austrian city of Graz on Tuesday. The police has said that the attacker was also killed and that a number of people have been injured. The police did not say how many of the dead were students. The police did not publicly identify the killer either, but said they have been working on the assumption that he acted alone. Austrian media has cited unconfirmed reports saying he was a former student who had entered the school and opened fire on other current students. Now, many of the injured have been taken to close by hospital following the terrible tragedy.
At 10 a.m. we got the alert that several shots were heard in a building. We started a police operation after this, including with the task force Cobra. At the moment, the situation has been secured. And no, there is no more danger for other civilians. However, there were several deaths.
And the European Union has offered its condolences to the families of the victims in the entire city of Graz.
We start with the absolutely horrible and tragic news that we've just heard regarding events in a school in Graz, in Austria. We would like to offer our deepest condolences to the families of the victims and the entire city of Graz, and we stand together in mourning and while we seek clarity in the wake of this horrible event in a school.
Now, the Kremlin said on Tuesday that Russia remains ready to return the bodies of Ukrainian soldiers killed in the ongoing conflict and is currently in talks with Kyiv regarding the exchange. Russia has also said some bodies are still awaiting handover in refrigerated trucks near an agreed exchange point, a situation they claim has persisted since Saturday due to Ukraine's alleged delay in collection. The Kremlin also noted that it does not yet have information on the exact number of Russian soldiers' bodies Ukraine is prepared to hand over. There is no final understanding. We are in touch and we compare the numbers. As soon as there is any final understanding, we hope that the exchange takes place. There is one true fact. For several days, we've been ready at the border with the trucks we mentioned to give the bodies to the Ukrainian side. Now, US President Donald Trump has ordered active duty US Marines and 2,000 more National Guard troops into Los Angeles, vowing those protesting immigration arrests would be hit harder than ever. Trump's extraordinary mobilization of 700 full-time professional military personnel and thousands of National Guard troops has come on the fourth day of street protests triggered by dozens of immigration arrests in a city with huge foreign-born and Latino populations. California Governor Gavin Newsom has slammed the move, posting on X that US Marines shouldn't be deployed on American soil, facing their own countrymen to fulfill the deranged fantasy of a dictatorial president. He's also termed the move un-American. The deployment has come after demonstrators took over streets in downtown LA on Sunday, torching cars and looting stores in scenes that saw law enforcement responding with tear gas and rubber bullets. Monday's demonstrations unfolded largely peacefully. However, after weekend protests triggered by dozens of arrests of people authorities said were illegal migrants and gang members. Meanwhile, the United Nations has urged for joint efforts to prevent the escalation of militarization in Los Angeles. Deputy spokesperson for UN Secretary General Farhan Haq has emphasized the importance of joint efforts of local, state and federal authorities to de-escalate the unrest in LA.
We certainly hope that all parties on the ground will de-escalate the situation. We do not want to see any further militarization of this situation, and we encourage the parties at the local, state, and federal levels to work to do that.
Now, top US and Chinese economic officials have resumed trade talks in London on Tuesday, aiming to bridge divides on critical export controls and ease global supply chain concerns. The second day of negotiations follows a productive first day on Monday, with both the delegations seeking a breakthrough on issues like rare earth materials. The talks are crucial to preventing further supply chain disruptions and mitigating risks to global economic growth. The US delegation is spearheaded by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China is represented by Vice Premier He Lifeng. Now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Tuesday called on the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in Brussels. He praised a strong condemnation of the Battleground terror attack and solidarity in combating terrorism as well. Both the sides acknowledged the benefits of enhancing cooperation in trade, technology, connectivity and security to deepen the India-European Union partnership. The External Affairs Minister is on an official visit to Europe, that is France and Belgium as well, from the 8th to the 14th of June, to further deepen India's friendly relations and give renewed momentum to ongoing cooperation in diverse areas. Earlier, Dr. Jaishankar held talks with Belgian counterpart Maxime Prévost on combating terrorism and bolstering bilateral ties between the two nations. Dr. Jaishankar also held wide-ranging discussions on deepening cooperation, including in trade, investment, technology, defense and security, pharmaceuticals, clean energy and mobility. Belgium is the first stop in Dr. Jaishankar's week-long visit to Europe. And as I mentioned, during his week-long visit to Europe, Dr. Jaishankar also held talks with Europe's leaders of the European Union and France to boost bilateral ties and reaffirm India's policy of zero tolerance against terrorism. And Dr. Jaishankar also interacted with members of the Indian community of Belgium as well as Luxembourg. He discussed with them the steady progress of India-Belgium ties and engagement with the EU. Dr. Jaishankar apprised them of the Indian efforts at countering terrorism and ensuring progress and prosperity to India.
Particularly in respect of Europe itself, there is a much sharper interest in Europe to build ties, stronger ties with India. I think part of it is the direction in which the world is going. There is an increasing sense that, look, all countries, I mean, in a way, you know what, we used to speak about Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think there is also Atmanirbhar Europe now in the making. They realize that, look, many of the problems of Europe have to be addressed by Europe itself, that they have to stand more on their own feet, and therefore they also need more friends. They need stronger relationships with other countries, and I think that's very much kind of a thinking which is driving the process. Now.
And addressing the UN conference, that's the Ocean Conference in Nice on Tuesday, India's Earth and Science Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh spoke about India's unwavering commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Singh said that since the second UN Ocean Conference, India has made significant progress in conserving and sustainable use of the oceans.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I am pleased to reaffirm India's unwavering commitment to the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDG 14. Ladies and gentlemen, since the second United Nations Ocean Conference, India has made significant progress, which is also relevant to the theme of this year's conference, that is, accelerating action and mobilizing all actors to conserve and sustainably use.
India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who's on an official visit to the UAE, met with Ali Nuami, Chairman of Defence Affairs, Interior and Foreign Affairs Committee, Federal National Council on Tuesday. During the meeting, both the leaders reaffirmed their commitment to combating terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. The discussion also covered avenues for strengthening parliamentary cooperation between India and the UAE. Earlier, the Foreign Secretary met with Sheikh Naya bin Mubarak Al Naya, Minister of Tolerance in Abu Dhabi. Discussions highlighted the deep-rooted ethos of harmony shared by India and the UAE, reinforcing the commitment of both the nations to mutual respect and cultural understanding. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code there on the screen, download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.